Order submitted. Order cancelled.
Okay, good afternoon, folks. Hope everyone is well. Karina, good morning to you. So, hope everyone's had a relaxing weekend. My week is going to be on and off, I think. I've got a sick dog at the moment, and she won't be around in a couple of days, so she's just laying on the bed at the moment. She's not too good, so we're booked into have her euthanized the morning after next. So she's just in pain. She's getting old, so I'm just keeping an eye on her. So I may have to run off at any time. So hopefully things will stay comfortable for us. So I hope everyone's had a good weekend and ready to go. So Daryl, how you doing, buddy? Yeah, it happens, mate. It's life, isn't it? She's getting old now. She'll be 12 in a few months. So she's comfortable anyway. She's on the bed. I can keep an eye on her, but you don't want to see animals suffer. I hate seeing animals suffer. I'd rather see human beings suffer. There's a few human beings I'd rather see suffer than animals. So what's going on? So overnight we had that gap up, which was, I don't know, 10, 20, 30, 25 points, something like that. And we came down and filled it. We had 3 bounces down here and it took off. So we've kind of had this move up. It's hard to say at the moment. We're just clearing any liquidity up at this area, so it's hard to know what's going on. But if I look on Bookmap, we've got solid orders around about 88, which is up here somewhere. Is it 88 or 98? About 88, which is kind of around there. So I think we're probably going to push up a touch more, maybe a leg and a leg. And then we kind of see how we get on then. So let me just put that there. So this to me is quite likely a leg and a leg. Could put that down. Let's put it about there, I think. And about there. So looks like we're going to have 2 legs up anyway. Let me just make this a little larger. So I've changed things slightly with my trading. Yeah, I know a lot of you guys have runners. So instead of a runner, it's okay, Karina, I appreciate it. Instead of a runner, what I'm doing is just trading a couple of my accounts with slightly more. I did pick up a take profit account. I had some money in there from affiliate, which I didn't know about, and I just happened to have a browse. And if you have affiliates, you can use them to pay for an account. So that's what I did. So I'm just going to trade 2 of my accounts on 2 contracts and the other 8 on the 1 single contract. So that's 20% of them. That to me is kind of like my way of having a runner. So you're risking trying to get a little bit more on 20% of my accounts. So I think this is going to continue a little bit higher. We've got some buyers around about 80. But there. Anyway, as I was saying, so what I've decided to do, I'm still having problems with losses. I really don't like them. They affect me. So what I've decided to do is just to take 1 loss a day. So if I have 1 loss a day, I'm done. And then what I'll probably do then is keep my take profit trader account active, so then I can move on, because I still think it's good to have screen time. If I take a loss in the first 30 minutes and walk away, I'm potentially, I still want the experience of spending. I try and spend about 3.5, maybe 4 hours a day in front of the charts. So if I take 1 loss on my main bulk of accounts, I'll finish them. I'm locked out of those anyway. And then I'll move over to my take profit account. And that way it'll stop me getting to that urge of wanting to get in. What I have noticed sometimes when I get in for a second trade, my discipline is, I think it's faulting a little bit. It's not quite as strong as I think it should be. So we'll see anyway. So it's hard to know whether this thing's going to go up. We've kind of been ranging overnight, so you don't know whether it's going to come back into the range. It's hard to say, but it could push up. Now, what I'm looking at on Bookmap, there are orders. There's some around about here, I would have suggested. So it may come down a bit lower, but there are strong orders at 85. It doesn't mean it'll get up there, of course. There are some at 85 and some up just under 90, which is kind of around about there-ish. So it may push up for that measured leg. Let me just have a look left to see if there's anything that we may... No. So there is a second entry long there. Because this may come into here, I'm leaving this one and waiting for a higher low. If we get a higher low, it's a lot safer option. And rightly so. It's a bit too early. It hasn't stopped it out yet. But my guess is, especially with these orders here, my guess is it probably will. So those orders are around about here. They're dropping them a little bit. So, yeah. So if you'd have taken that, and I absolutely understand why you would have done, second entry long, we dropped right the way around and pushed up, cleared all this liquidity. I understand the thought process. But because we've kind of push up, we've been in this range overnight, I always like to give these breakouts just a little bit of space. It is two legs. Granted, the second leg didn't get as high, but we've had two legs nonetheless. So I'd just like to give us a bit of space. So, wow. KQ. Let's call you KQ. Ben, how you doing, buddy? So, Big Bear would need some high low. Yeah, so Thomas Wade was waiting for the high low. Sensible. Let's see if anybody else got in. Not that I can see. Yeah, it's a little bit early, isn't it? Now, a couple of people have put a channel like that from there. Leg and a leg. There may well be. Trouble is, if there is, then I expect it to push up from there. If there isn't, it may come down. So I think this is just a little bit too trappy for me because of this range. So if you took that there, you've just got stopped out. Two legs back off that. That's the trouble. I think it's just a little bit early to come in there, I do, and trust that as a channel. Now, if it was a guaranteed channel, then taking a trade like that, small risk, wouldn't be bad. But as I say, as we've been doing this ranging, I think you've got to give that a bit of space. Yeah, my poor little dog. She hasn't eaten now. It's day 3. It's nothing worse than seeing animals sick. I got a real soft spot with animals, I have. Especially with dogs. They're so loyal. I mean, you can kick a dog up the arse, can't you, and it'll lick you. Not that I would ever do that, but it doesn't matter what you do. Dogs they're so loyal, aren't they? And seeing mine go downhill like that's heartbreaking. So, Laufey, how you doing, buddy? So, let me just check everything is opening up.
Order submitted.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Super.
Order cancelled.
So, yeah, we've been pretty much ranging. You can see we've been up to the top here, up to the top here, up to the top here again. So we have had a breakout. So you don't know whether it's going to come back into the range or whether it's going to take off. So looking at Bookmap, we can see there are orders up there and up there. But then we got some at 75 here, which mean we got a channel. We may get a pullback, and this may come down some more because we got some at 65, which is about there, which is more or less at the bottom. So they are fading, those orders. You can see them there. 1 minute they're kind of quite yellow, and then they start to fade. But we've got short orders coming up here, so my guess is this is probably going to continue down. So we got a channel down there with a break. So if we can get a nice second entry, there's plenty of space down to the bottoms. I'd have a go, but it'd have to be a good one. But there are orders up here, up 80. So let's just put that at 80. That might be a bit too high from this to trust to come down. And now there are buyers at 70 here. So we may trap some shorts and push high. So I'm just sitting tight and watching this at the moment till something is clear. I think we should start looking for a reversal or a second entry short now. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking for. But the trouble is with these shorts up here, well, look at that. What can you do? Not really much you could do. There's nothing left, to be honest with you. If we can get a second entry, this may come down some more. I am aware there are orders up here. And as we know, Bookmap does show you these areas of liquidity that, as we know, act as magnets. Doesn't necessarily mean it will go up. If we get enough sellers in here thinking that they want to short this, it may not even get up there. So let me just do that, because then we may be doing a little bit of sideways movement here. There is a lower high there, but we're at the bottoms already. You don't know whether this is going to break the lows and then continue. You don't know whether there's going to, I mean, later down the line, we could be looking at something like this. It certainly would make sense at the tops, but it's a bit too early for either or, really. So that channel fitted really nice. We got a touch, nice touch there, and then we had a leg up, and then all of a sudden it just turned and down we came, and we're more or less at the lows. There's no space. I wouldn't take that in case it triggers you and pushes up here and has another leg up before it comes down. So at the moment, I'm just sitting tight. I kind of hate taking trades in those areas because you never, yeah, exactly. You never know whether there is going to turn out to be a bigger channel and we're going to get trapped to the short side when this thing goes up. You never really know, really. So I think sometimes if things aren't that clear, sometimes you're better off just sitting tight, aren't you? Twiddling your thumbs, as we say over here. Now, we've still got orders at 90, but these orders here are at 85, and that's starting to fade a little bit. And we've got bigger orders down here. So it's hard to say. You can see there are some down there at, there's 158 contracts at 45, which is down here. So right about there. So yeah, now are we making a larger channel down from there? Maybe. Doesn't look terrible, actually. Still might be a bit early. So 75, there are orders to go short. I wouldn't go short here. This is going to pop up and break above these for me. So my guess is that'll pop up above there and maybe test this top or even push out a little bit higher. Mind you, if you look above it, this area here, it's very dark. There's not much in the way of orders. So it may not. But there are buyers at 55 down here. So let me have a look. It's going to take aggressive buyers there because there's not much in the way of passive orders there to suck price up. As we know, these resting orders act as magnets. There's not a huge amount there. You can see that area is very black. And if there's not enough to suck price up, it'll generally carry on down to this unless we get aggressive buyers buying in, which we are a little bit. You can see those aggressive buyers. There's more green than red there, so that's probably caused that to push up there. But my guess is if I'd have taken that bar there, I'd have expected that to get stopped out 100%. And I'll be amazed if it doesn't. So if this thing is going to continue down, I would expect it to clear previous liquidity, which it has there. So there is a second entry short bars NAF though. Orders at 75 here, so it's around about this big, but now that's a fair size bearish bar there. So if it breaks above there, I will be surprised. Usually picks off easy liquidity like this and this, but when it's a very strong move, it pushed straight through that. When it's a strong move like that, usually they're quite safe. But as you can see on here, these orders at 75 are starting to get a little bit deeper in colour, which may pull it up. I don't think it will, but it may do. It's already broke above there and above there, taking that liquidity. The next lot of liquidity is up here, so this will be interesting to see if it gets up. So, second entry short, 2 legs up. I'd have to wait for a lower high here because there are orders up here and it may trigger and push up. But if you like the channel, it is 2 legs up with a break. But Bookmap is stopping me from taking that short there. Yeah, exactly. Yes, if a first entry doesn't get triggered, it's usually a good idea. You know, things are coming down, and as soon as you get a second entry, usually that's certainly the way in. So there is 2 legs up. I think it's a bit early here, to be honest with you, because we had these orders up here, and you never know, but it is acting like it's working. And there we go. 30 ticks straight down. I would prefer there to be a higher low here trapped. Yeah, those orders at 75. As I said, they weren't super strong. And we've got this big, strong move down from above the EMA. So, you know, I wouldn't have expected price to break above there, but it got there and turned and down it came. You took it. I didn't think it was a terrible trade at all, mate. I didn't think it was a terrible trade. The only issue I have at the moment, I've set my Guardian Angel Trader now 1 loss and I'm out. So if I've got to take 1 trade in a day, I would want it a little better. The lower high, just for confirmation, because we still had these orders up here. But I think there's a good indication of how a trade moves, whether it was a good trade. And you can clearly see there was a lot of selling there, aggressive sellers that like that and pushed it straight down. So if you take a trade and that happens, I think, you know, it's a good indicator you've entered in the right place. Clearly traders liked it. I mean, from there, what, 5, 10, 15, 20 points straight down. So if market moves that quick, then there's obviously sellers there. So yeah, 20 points. Oof. Another thing, actually, that I didn't pay attention to is when we bounced here, I didn't look left. Bounce. So given that scenario now, I may have taken that one. See, I've still got this liquidity. Not that strong, though. Having said that, sometimes it will trigger and pop up. But as it bounced off the top here at the, you know, these 2 previous highs, I think that was a good indication you're going to get sellers there. I'm taking the bar size really serious now. I've got about 4 ATMs, depending on the bar size, going from 4 micros. Yeah. Do you know, that's part of the reason why I looked at range bars for a while, because range bars are all the same size. So, you know, if you're taking a range bar 10 with 10 ticks, you know exactly what your risk is, tick above, tick below. You know you're risking, you know, 12 ticks there. So it's easy to manage. The difficult thing is with Pats, I don't know how many times I've read in books, traders saying, always keep your risk the same. It's near damn impossible with Pats, unless you've got 10 or 15 seconds when a bar finishes that you can decide to, you know, adjust things to get in. But you never quite know how big your risk is going to be until that final bar finishes. So you can kind of get somewhere close. But that's kind of the one downside. You know, if we entered here and put a stop 3 points up there, and then our profit down here, it'd be a lot easier. But it's just a little bit unfortunate. So, channel with a break, and a new low. We've kind of bounced off that midline. You can see there is some support there. So where is this thing going now? Hard to tell. So yeah, there's two theories for me going with one losing trade and I'm done. First theory is that I'm more likely to wait for a better trade because I know if I take a loss, that's it. I'm done for the day. I've not got a chance to get it back. And two, I don't have to worry about getting those, itchiness to get back in. Or if I have to take another trade, sometimes, you're a little bit over keen to get your money back, and that can result sometimes in take a lesser trade. So with those 2 extra points, I think, to be honest with you, I rarely take a second trade anyway. So for me, it's a better option. You might need to invest in Guardian Angel Trader because I take 2 losses, all hell breaks loose. Yeah, mate, you're on your own there, bud. It happens to a lot of us. The thing I like about Guardian Angel Trade is when you set it. So, for instance, if I try and get into it now, it's locked out. So if you look at this, if I click an account, I can't get in. I unlock mine between 12:30 and 1:30 UK time in case I've messed up and I need to adjust something. For some reason last week, when I put in a lock stop, it wouldn't let me trade accounts. Now, if I've had that locked to the weekend, I wouldn't be able to trade to the weekend. So, but I have mine locked. So whatever happens now, I can't get into it. I can't even delete the software. So it's a permanent way of locking you out. Now, anybody who's ever been on a diet, it's really easy to say, I'm going to go on a diet tomorrow when you've just knocked back giant-sized pizza. But come tomorrow, when you start getting hungry, you start looking at the fridge. But it's Guardian Angel is kind of like having a lock on the fridge that you can't get into. So it kind of forces you to get out of that habit. Yeah, I looked at the second entry. I'm waiting for the lower high. We've already had a break of this and a new low. So I'm just in case, because once we've had that break and new low, there is a possibility that it could work up again. I don't think it will, but I'm still waiting for the lower high or second entry short or a failure or something. We've got orders at 45, which is there. The orders up here are very faint, so I think I can probably get rid of them. There is some buyers around about 55 here. So this still could go up. You can see these strong buyers. There's 190 contracts at 55. So this may hit this and push up. I can't stress how useful Guardian Angel Trader is. You know, someone said to me, oh, it's quite expensive, $399. I'm thinking if you blow through 4 accounts, you've got your money back. And then you've got it for the rest of your days, your trading days. So I think it's a small price to pay, the amount of money it can save you. I won't take a failure here because there's a big chunk of orders at 55. So if that's bearish, it is tempting, but I'm sitting tight here. If it hits this area, these buyers might push price up. Why a 300k is hard to pass because you've got to get $20,000 in profit. Pound for pound, they don't work out very well. $50,000, you got to get to $3,000. $300,000, you got to get to $20,000. So, and how many contracts are you going to trade? Obviously, they're more pricey. You can only take out 3,700 at a time. So you can only take out, not a huge amount more. So some people like them. Hasn't regretted it. Yeah. How long does it take to get $20,000? So what have you got drawdown? You've got 3 times the drawdown. So it takes a long time. And I remember hearing that guy. You remember that guy who hit the first $1 million from Apex? Forget his name now. Vince, his name was. He said he got $300,000. And his plans were to trade max contracts. He said he never traded more than 2 or 3 contracts. So for me, the 150 I don't think are that bad, because you got that little extra, and what you got to get to 9,000, haven't you? You got that little bit extra drawdown if you want to go for a few more contracts. So that's not too bad. But for me, I think by far the best value, easiest to pass, most straightforward are the 50,000s for me. I know Nutty does a lot of them, the 150,000 ones. $50 to $25, yeah. I've only done 125. That was I bought it by accident instead of the 50. But I like the 50s. They suit me. But you know, everyone's got their own way of looking at things, haven't they? Still got those buyers down here. There's going to be liquidity there. You could go 1, 2, 3 triple test. So there are shorts at 75, which is there. So I'm going to avoid a trade here at the moment. It's a little bit congested. You may think 2 legs up, bearish bar with a lower high, but I think this is going to push a little bit higher. We got liquidity here and here, and 2 legs would take us above this. So I think this is going to push a little higher. Those orders at 55 down here, you seen a load of them have been yanked. Oh, there you go. Straight up. So, Little Hammer, how you doing, bud? You're a big fan of the 25s, one-to-one profit target. Yeah, everyone's got their own ideas, haven't they? Personally, for me, anything 150, I don't mind, but anything above that, it's just not for me. It's just too much profit to get. You know, if you're super sensible and you've got a big bank account balance and you're very good at trading and you want to hit the 300,000 and grow them to take large amounts of profit, and you think you're capable of doing it, then fair enough. It's just too much for me. So channel break Nulo, that's why I kind of left this alone. Do wonder whether anybody had taken that. You see how it's bouncing under that line there. Whether there may be some that have got that. Thinking channel break new eye, bearish bar right off the top. Let's go short there. Triggers pushes up. I know Wilson's been through phases, and mind you, I don't think there's any type of accounts he hasn't got. I'm sure he did $2,300,000 accounts. Just incidentally, this offer finishes today, so just keep that in mind if you do want to get something. Which trader do you think is worth comparing my chart to at the end of the day? I think Marco is a good trader. He's sensible. His charts always look good. He always posts them at least 4 days out of 5. So I like Marco's. He's very sensible, very calm, and his channels all make sense to me. So I would look at Marco's. I would. Dan doesn't post this so much anymore, unless you're in his Discord, and then I think he does. But I'd say Mark. I even prefer looking at Marco's chart to Max, to be honest with you, because Marco's sensible. He may mark 3 or 4 trades. marks 30 or 40 is just mad. It's just mad. See, why Mac doing what he does isn't a good idea, because it's easy at the end of the day to mark a big channel down, but until you've bounced off that channel a few times and it's been confirmed, you can't take any trades back here. But if all of a sudden you decide at the end of the day, I'm going to do that, that, and that, and then go, I took that, you don't know that this is a channel until it's tested a few times. So you won't have taken any of these. So that's why I don't agree with marking a chart up at the end of the day. The only way to mark a chart up is if to do it bit by bit like this. Because every time you mark a chart, we might have a channel up here, but you don't know whether it's going to bounce 2 times and push up, or you don't know whether it's going to make 2 attempts to push up and push down. So you can't mark a chart at the end of the day fairly. No wonder he's got 20 trades. It's easy. But in real time, when you're seeing bar at a time, you can only do with what you've got in front of your eyes. You can't make anything up until the end of the day when you look back and go, okay, there was a trade there. But in real time, you would have never really saw them, or certainly not safe enough to take them. So I would say Marco, look at Marco's charts. If you're still not sure about your charts, you can always post them and get some feedback. But I think you've been trading a while now, haven't you? Yeah, I mean, I've been trading for 5 years now. I still compare my charts to other people. It's always good to have some other opinions. I know Marco's been trading a bit longer than me. I think he's a nice, sensible guy. So if I think someone's good at something, absolutely. I think it's always good to be humble and never think you know everything. I think every day in front of the charts is a school day. There's always learning to do, isn't there? And I'm happy to take advice from other people. I think it's a smart person who does that. People who pretend they never take losses, and people who think, they don't need anybody else, more experiences. I think you're cutting your learning a bit. I think you've always got to be open. Some 12, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. If you're bored one day, look at some of Max. Go onto his YouTube channel and go onto videos and look at some of the oldest ones. Yeah. Definitely broke some of his own rules, but that makes sense. Your trading style and the way you trade is bound to change over the years. It's things change and you kind of slowly go with them, don't you? So, I hate it when the price is like this. It's not kind of super clear, is it? There was orders up there at 90 from quite a while back, and there are more up there. So I do wonder whether we may end up doing something like that. In fact, it doesn't look terrible, does it? Not that it really helps us. If you wanted to trade that channel, you'd have to wait for it to come down here. So it's no real use for us, really, is it? Last week there was second entry long that failed, and a little fake out. The market went up. Marco didn't mark the second entry long, but instead marked the setup after the fake out. Trouble is, as well, Marco, I think, does mark the chart up later as well. Now, I've spoken to him about this. He doesn't take every trade he marks. He marks what he thinks is a valid trade, but he doesn't always take that. So, I mean, trading patterns isn't an exact science. It's more experience and feel, having a feel for it. Being caught in situations and being caught out and losing trade does make you learn to notice those little telltale signs where something's a little bit iffy. And it's time to. It took me I've been doing pats for 4.5 years, and I'm still, I still have days where things. I think for me now, it's getting more about impulsive trades rather than skill. I can tell you what a good setup looks like. Sometimes we have a good setup. They rarely fail. but it's having that patience and discipline. And the trouble is, you've only got to slip up just once and you can get a losing trade. You don't always have a lot of time and things aren't always super clear. I mean, when you're looking at something, how often are you 100% that you've got a fantastic trade? It's very rare you get what I will call a perfect setup. I probably think I see a perfect setup once every couple of weeks. I see good setups, but something that is that obvious you can't click the button quick enough. I may only see one every week or two. But, you've kind of got to let your experience to say, I think this is okay. And use your judgment. But that judgment, you don't have a lot of time to make a decision. And, it's like anything. If you have a month to make a decision, you can sleep on it, think about it, and come to an honest, fair decision. But when you've got, sometimes seconds and things aren't super clear, you've got to make a decision. You've got to take some trades. You can't avoid everything, but, you've got to be sensible enough to go, I think this is worth a go. Some days when I've had a week that I've taken 3 trades and they've all worked perfectly, you feel on top of the world. Everything feels great in life. And then you have a losing trade, followed by another losing trade. It's amazing how that mentality, feeling on top of the world, can completely turn. It's uncanny. Second entry long I wouldn't take at the moment because we're coming down from the top of the channel. I'd expect a break, which we've had, and a new low. We're off the bottom of this channel. That's if it's valid. I can see support here and here. So I would just hold on here. I always like to have a break. We've got enough space to have a break and a new low. So for me, I'd wait. And can you see these big chunk of orders here on Bookmap around about 73? Not 73, around about 76, 70, let's call them there. And where are those orders? Right below that bullish bar. So if you wanted to buy this, that's where you would be wanting to buy it down here, and you can see all them buyers. So I'm not saying it won't work. Sometimes it just will, but at the moment, I'm sitting tight, but it's that bear bar hasn't triggered anyway. But with those orders here, I'll be surprised if this doesn't push down there. You've probably got 2 bull bars trapped there, so that's why Bookmap would keep me out of that trade and keep me out of that trade. I'll be shocked if it doesn't break below there. You can see these orders, can't you? Yes, if you took either one of those, they stitch you. So I think always wait for a break and a new low. So I wouldn't take a trade at the moment. There's stud orders below it. And not only that, because we've had a channel and a break, we could get a second leg down here. I'm not convinced we will, but I'm not ready to take a trade here. Okay, this is that second long. There's liquidity here, which we can clearly see. So for me, this is this second leg down. So unfortunately, that just killed anything here and here straight away. So you do learn to read the signs, you do. I don't know how many times I'd have taken trades like that. I never take them now. Just, this doesn't feel right to me. And you do get, after a while, you do get a feeling, and not a nice feeling, because when you've taken trades in like this before, you're invested in that picture. So you remember it. That'll be stuffed in the back of your brain. And when that picture shows itself again, something will go, I've been here before. Like we've all driven to a place, haven't we, and think, I swear I've been here before. And then you may have done 5 years ago, just driven through it. And that's the same with trading. You're staring at that picture. And when you've got money at that picture, you ain't going to forget it. You're glued to it because you can see exactly what it's showing you. And when you've lost trades in that same kind of scenario before, sooner or later you'll go, oh, I've been here before and it didn't feel good. And I do that all the time now. And when it does what you expect it to do, it just shows you're learning. At the end of the day, you can follow every single room. Experience takes you out of bad trades. Yeah, absolutely. it's like anything in life. If you're a doctor, you know, you have junior doctors, and then you have senior doctors, and then you have registrars. You know, the longer you've been doing it, the more sick patients you've seen, you'll get to the stage where you'll see a patient, you'll see the signs, and you'll go, pretty sure I know what it is. And that's why you have that kind of level of experience. There is a higher low here. I don't think it's a terrible trade, but I'm going to sit tight here. There is a higher low, but it's a little bit of a doji, and the EMA is a bit flat. I do think it's going to push up and test the tops. I haven't got anything on either chart, to be honest with you. In fact, I've got Sim sat there. Let me just... there may be a failure here. Second entry, short trigger and push up. Let's have a look.
Order submitted.
2 legs down, push up above the EMA, higher low there. Possible failure. Where's my order? Oh, it's down here. See if this triggers.
Order cancelled.
It didn't trigger. I was hoping it would trigger the failure. It didn't. Sit tight a minute. I'm just going to take a quick bathroom break. I'll be 1 quick minute. Okay, so we kind of had a fair idea where it was going. I didn't want to take that first bar just in case. You don't know whether you're going to end up being caught out in something like this. So I didn't take that. Not only that, it was relatively large. So if you went a tick above it and a tick below it, it's comfortably 7 points, maybe 7. I'm not risking 7 points. That's too big for me. Too rich for my blood. You may have got in on a limit order a little bit back, but you know, that's a move up, I will say that, but I prefer to wait for the higher low, and the higher low for me pushed above but then closed at that AMA. See, half the time we have a fair idea where it's going, but you still got to kind of wait for a setup. Gone the days where I just take them anyway because I feel like it's going up. Yeah, half the time you're not wrong, but you don't know whether it's going to come back and stop you out before it continues on. Market's got a way of rubbing your nose in it. So that's where I expect it to get to. We've had those orders there for quite a while now. So I think there's a fair chance it's going to hit that. And there are some further up and further up. So this may go a bit higher. So we've got some at 90, we've got some at 95. And we've got some up here at 700. So I think it'll hit 700. at some point. It may decide to go sideways for half an hour, but I think fair option. Do you only look at 2 charts or have you other screens? So at the moment, this is all I've got here. So yeah, I mean, these 2 charts are basically the same. The only slight difference is this is got it's exactly the same chart, but there's a slight variation in the bars because I've got my break at end of day deselected. I'm going to change that, see if I can make this gap a bit bigger. And that makes a slight difference in the bar. And the theory being, the context might be good for going along, but the setup bar, the signal bar might not be so great. So having a second chart sometimes gives you a better signal bar. But yeah, all I've really got in front of me on my top screen, I've got this, which is, you can see us chatting. To the right of that, I've just got my Replicanto, my Ninja Trader. My top right screen, I've got the Discord, which I'm not chat much today, but I'm chatting. And to the right of that, I've got this, which is just my OBS, which is just showing everything, you know, and that's basically it, really. That's interesting. I'm going to have a go at that.
Order submitted.
Come back to the EMA and add quite a strong push up. There's not much in the way of orders down here. It is a second entry long. Straight away, I'm regretting it, though. This is going to take me out 100%.
Order filled.
It's a bummer. That's frustrating. I actually really like that. We had a strong push up, didn't quite get to the top. One pull back, second pull back. I thought that was going to really work. That's a shame. I didn't see a huge amount of orders down here. The orders were strong at 900. Now it's probably going to work, isn't it? I can't trade these accounts now. So maybe. Well, do you know what? It is a little bit congested there, which is probably why it didn't work. So what I can do is take the trade the take profit instead. And that
Order
I will
filled.
take. Because we've had 2 legs back now, in fact.
Order
A
filled.
second contract on that. This is just the evaluation, take profit. I should have waited for that before, to be honest with you. It's a bit congested. This is a failed breakout. In fact, I'm going to double
Order
up on this.
filled.
It is an evaluation one. Am I going to ruin this one today as well? I don't mind risking this one. I got this one for free. Come on, push. Little failed breakout there, so that should work. It's a bit congested, that. I should have left that, to be fair. It's just one of them things, isn't it? That's the trouble. You don't have a lot of time to think about it. Come on. I might get out of this.
Target filled.
This This is just an evaluation. That's a shame. Ah, well, it is what it is. Okay, I'm going to knock it on the head there. I can't trade anyway. All my other accounts are locked out. Now it's working, isn't it?
Order filled. Order filled. Order filled.
Push up. I'm nearly above. Come on, come on, come on. You can see where it's going. This is this evaluation one. Come on. I think it's going to break all this. I can see a big chunk of orders at 900 there. Oh dear. Come on, get up. Trouble is, it's a free one, that, anyway. Oh, well. That's that going to go.
Order filled.
Oh, well. Okay, I'm going to knock on the head there. So, not a great day today. So, that's that free take profit one I had, but that's a shame. Anyway, it happens. So, I'm going to leave you guys to it. It's not the best day for me today. I've got stuff on my mind at the moment. So, but I've taken me one loss. I should have left that. One of them things anyway. So, I'm going to leave you guys to it. I'll be back tomorrow. Have a good old day. Stay safe and we'll catch up tomorrow. Bye for now.